You know what that's called? Refrigerator trash. And we need to declutter our refrigerator, guys, so that way we can navigate the refrigerator with ease. And when we're cooking, it makes cooking a whole lot easier because we can go straight to the items we need. Especially if you have a big family, it's very easy to store lots of food and not know what's going on in there. And then when we do groceries, we're like wondering where we're gonna put this and where we're gonna do that. And we're trying to play Tetris with the food and try to move things around to fit the new food that's coming in instead of just decluttering the space. Hey lovely people, welcome back to my channel. And today, as you can see, I'm standing in front of my refrigerator because I'm going to be decluttering my refrigerator. And while I'm decluttering my refrigerator, I'm going to be stopping in and giving you guys some helpful tips, 6 to be exact, on how you can keep your refrigerator clutter free. Because remember, I got this decluttering series going on for 2020 that I want to make sure that we are clutter free and we are stress free in 2020. So that way we can focus more on things that are more important and be more intentional about how we use our time. And of course, to do that, we need to make sure we remove some of the clutter we got going on. And the refrigerator can be one of the biggest places we hold clutter, more than we actually think about. So if you guys are interested in seeing me speed clean and declutter my refrigerator, stay tuned. Tip number 1 when it comes to decluttering your refrigerator is first removing everything out of your refrigerator. Clean your refrigerator as best as you can, and then we will start to put in things back in we need. Then that way we're not keeping the refrigerator open and using up unnecessary energy. So tip number 1, remove everything, and then from there we can evaluate what goes in and what goes out. Tip number 2, making sure that on a weekly basis, you're going into your refrigerator and do an inventory of everything that's in your refrigerator. Make sure that it's not expired. Because the number 1 thing that I noticed in my refrigerator that caused clutter was keeping things that weren't even edible. They were expiring faster than I can eat them. And instead of keeping track of what was expired and what was done and what was empty, I was just adding more food to the refrigerator each week. So definitely keep an inventory of what is in your refrigerator every week. So that way you can take things out that are expiring or that you don't need on a regular basis. So you don't reach to the point where it's so cluttered, it becomes overwhelming. Tip number 3, get a storage food organizer for your refrigerator, and it will help so much in keeping your refrigerator clutter free. You can have them for sodas, you can have them for fruits, you can have them for different departments of your refrigerator. You can even use them in your freezer. I recommend them to anybody. If you want the link for where you can find storage food organizers, I'll have one down in the description. You can find them all over Amazon. You can also find them in your local store. But if you're like me, Amazon is super flexible and easy to purchase things. You just press a button and it's ready to go. But just keep it in mind that storage bins, food storage containers really help keep your food and your refrigerator organized. Number 4, I'm telling you, this one can help you out dramatically, especially if you are a leftover food eater. Don't fool yourself into thinking, okay, I'm gonna save this food and I'm going to eat it tomorrow or the next day. It happens all the time. We fool ourselves into thinking that, okay, we're not gonna trash the food because we don't want to feel guilty for throwing it away. So we keep it and tell ourselves, okay, we're gonna keep it and we'll eat it as leftovers. And then day 1 go by, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 1 week go by, and we're still like, yeah, I don't want to throw it away. Just let it go. Just trash it. Give yourself a rule. Give yourself a time frame that if by 2 days you haven't touched it, trash it. And make sure it's a family thing, that the whole family knows that if 2 days it hasn't been touched, we're trashing it. Because you know what? We need space in the refrigerator, and we want to make sure that we're not keeping trash in our refrigerator. Our refrigerator is not a trash bin. Tip number 5, I would say, is probably the most important tip in my opinion, is making sure that you're properly storing food in your refrigerator. Only store food in Tupperware. Make sure you're using only Tupperware to store away food. Put them in Tupperware, put them in glass Tupperware. We prefer to use only glass Tupperware because that's all we use in this house. But if you want to use plastic, it doesn't really matter. Just make sure you have a storage system for your food. So that way you can stack them on top of each other. If you have beans, if you have rice or whatever it is, you can put them in those containers and you can actually stack them on top of each other. Tip number 6, maximize your space in your refrigerator as much as possible. And the best way I found to maximize space in my refrigerator is making sure that if there's anything that hasn't been opened, containers like jars of pasta, don't keep those in the refrigerator. It's taking up space. Leave them in a cabinet, store them away somewhere, so that way you're not taking up space in your refrigerator for things that are already open and need refrigeration. I sometimes forget that, you know what? That jar hasn't even been opened yet. So why is it in the refrigerator? It's taking up space. So definitely stay clear of keeping things in your refrigerator that don't need to be there. Also, make sure you're using the freezer. The freezer is a great place to store food that you're not eating often. So instead of you putting food in the refrigerator that's not going to be eating no time soon, if it's able to be frozen, put it in the freezer and free up space in your refrigerator. If you're enjoying this series so far, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can get the next video that I post in this decluttering series for 2020. Because remember, we want to make sure we are clutter-free and stress-free for 2020. So if you want to join me on this journey, be sure to hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you know when the next time I upload a video. See you guys on the next one.